While I know every Bears fan has been fantasizing lately about the possibility of getting Deshaun Watson, including myself, unfortunately at this point it is looking less and less likely as the Texans brass continue to say that they are not interested in trading him. That being said, there's another young quarterback who has become available recently that may be able to fill the Chicago Bears quarterback role, and that is Carson Wentz. Now, I know everybody, when they hear that, they're going to be taken aback and they're going to want to go in the comments and trash on our video, but please hear me out. And I think by the end of the video, I will have convinced you that Carson Wentz may in fact be a viable option for the Chicago Bears at quarterback. Hello everybody, it's Austin with the Bear Necessities, and today we are going to be breaking down why Carson Wentz could in fact solve the Chicago Bears quarterback issue very quickly. All right, first off, let's get down the basics. The very first reason why he would be a good option for the Chicago Bears is because his trade value is going to be low. He is on one of the worst contracts in the NFL right now. And similar to how things work in the NBA, you can sometimes get real good values because of a player's cap hit. And then on top of that, Carson Wentz doesn't even want to be with the Eagles right now. So he's going to want to be traded, and he would likely take some sort of pay cut in order to be traded. We need to remember also that Carson Wentz has operated in a similar scheme to what Matt Nagy runs, so the learning curve on the scheme is going to be very minor. And I know none of these points so far are getting you hyped up about Carson Wentz, but please just continue and listen till the end of the video. We need to remember that this 2020 year for Carson Wentz has been one that is very out of character for him. He went 27-7 in 2019, touchdown to interception ratio. He went 21-7 in 2018, and he went 33-7 in a season where he would have won the MVP if he had not torn his ACL. Okay, so this season has been one that has been very out of character for Carson Wentz, and it's not surprising when you think about it. When you think about the times that he's performed really good, he's had some pretty decent weapons around him. Even though none have been really stars by any means, he's had a good offensive line. His team was healthy, and he had a defense that was helping him out as well. Now he's kind of been stuck in this situation where, because of injuries on the offensive line, on the positional players around him, because of the Eagles' poor drafting, he didn't really have what he had around him previously. We need to also remember that in his 33-7 season, he had pretty much a dream team of coaches around him that helped him mature into a player that was able to have that season. We'll get back to that in a minute. Most of his recent issues this season that has led to his high interception total has been a lot to do with something as easy as his footwork. Carson Wentz, for some reason, going from the 2019 season to the 2020 season, his footwork looked completely different, and it essentially caused him a bunch of wild accuracy issues. But lucky for us, footwork is something that's very easy to fix, but it's not something that's commonly fixed mid-season. You see, there's a lot of quarterbacks coaches that disagree with the idea that you should focus on, any sort of mechanical changes, because the quarterback could potentially even get worse if they don't work through it. So a lot of quarterbacks coaches will not have you adjust your mechanics mid-season, and that's exactly what we saw with Carson Wentz. My guess as to probably what happened is that in the 2019 season, the quarterbacks coach on the Eagles felt good enough about Carson Wentz's footwork that he didn't even worry about it all of training camp or all of offseason. That, or the shortened offseason, didn't ever allow Carson Wentz to really get in the groove with his footwork or work with coaches long enough in order to fix it. So the fact that it is such an easy issue to fix that has resulted in 90% of his interceptions, that's a very intriguing outlook when you look at this from a pure scouting standpoint. We need to remember that in Carson Wentz's best season too, where he went 33-7, he was coached by none other than John DeFilippo, who is currently the Chicago Bears quarterback coach. So bringing him to the Chicago Bears, you'd be able to reunite him with his quarterbacks coach that had him at his peak mechanically and also fixed a lot of Mitchell Trubisky's footwork issues. It's a very intriguing option, to say the least. On top of that, mentally, Carson is far and beyond more developed than Mitch ever was. Carson understands the Eagles scheme inside and out, which is very similar to Matt Nagy's scheme, and he does a good job at getting through his reads and reading defenses. Good enough, at least. And the best thing about getting someone like a Carson Wentz is because he probably won't be traded for a first-round pick, you can still use your first-round pick on adding a good offensive lineman, a real good offensive weapon, or if you don't feel comfortable enough with Carson Wentz, going up and getting a quarterback still that you can develop behind him. And hey, at the end of the day, if they both start looking like good quarterbacks, there you go. That's a dream scenario because you can trade one of them and get an absolute haul from another team. Having two good quarterbacks is one of the best issues that a team can have. So guys, how would you feel about reuniting Carson Wentz with his ex-quarterbacks coach that led him to some of his best seasons in Chicago in a similar scheme with even better talent around him? Guys, let me know in the comments. Again, Carson Wentz isn't by any means my top scenario, but I think it's an interesting option to think about and something that I don't believe Bears fans are giving enough consideration. Thank you guys so much, and bear down.